Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to our Week 12 review of Draftkings from a interesting weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, a little bit different, couple slates on the week. Kind of a crazy week trying to figure out what to do, what injuries were coming up, and just kind of what was going on. So we'll review Week 13's picks, but first, let's go over Week 12. So an interesting week. Had some things kind of fall the way I was hoping, but in a slightly different way. So in my favorite game stack of the day with Matt Ryan to Julio, bringing it back with Mike Evans, the overall pair or trio really hit. It just didn't hit in the way I was expecting between the three of them. So Matt Ryan goes for 19.78 points, was hoping for 21 out of him. Got a little unlucky that one of the long touchdown passes of the game, Mohamed Sanu threw instead of Matt Ryan. But Ryan went over 300 yards, had a great game, just didn't quite hit value. Julio, if you want to win any money this weekend, you pretty much had to have Julio in your lineup. I had him all over the place, had him on stacks like this, had him in cash. Really liked Julio this week. And he exploded for 53.8 DraftKings points. Now Mike Evans on the other side had 13.8, looking for 16. A little bit of a disappointment. Did have some good target share, and overall that stack worked out, but mainly because Julio just went crazy. Tight inside, tale of two tapes here. So Jared Cook, we were expecting 10 points. He got his 1.1, one catch. He had a touchdown, called it a touchdown, and it got overturned and reviewed. So I felt a little unlucky there. He didn't get targeted. That game got real weird real fast with the ejections. I thought that would even make it better for Jared Cook to get more target share. It just didn't happen. Oakland just didn't get him the ball, and that was kind of a failure there. And overall, I think it's a good play. He's got another flowchart matchup this week. I'm going to be going right back to him. Again, he's getting targeted in the red zone. We got to like that. Just hopefully he can convert next time. Tyler Kroft on the other side, 8.5 points was expected. Got us 10.4. Did catch a touchdown. Cleveland coming through on the flow chart. It's just something you have to look at every week, and it worked out here again with Tyler Kroft. Was happy with that process. It was a little nerve wracking for a little bit, but he came through. Rashard Matthews was out. As I put in my comment on the YouTube video, if he was out, it was going to Corey Davis, who we were expecting 14 points for. Only got his 8 points, 7.9. And really, Tennessee just looked gross, just looked ugly against a terrible Colts team. Marcus Mariota, I don't know if he's still hurt. He just doesn't look right. He's missing a lot of passes. Delaney Walker had a touchdown here, but just wasn't exactly what we wanted there. T.Y. Hilton was my other pick here at receiver again in the same game, and it was a big bust. Jack Doyle went off. He was somebody else I liked, but I thought Hilton, one of those two was going to go off and get a lot of points. Hilton just didn't get the targets. Really thought that Tennessee defense was struggling, and that's where T.Y. had done his work, as we talked about, kind of beat up on the bad teams, but T.Y.'s been so up and down, it was a little risky for GPPs. I like playing that, taking that risk, looking for that 2-touchdown upside that he can have against bad defenses. It just didn't come to fruition. Overall, up and down week for me. I lost quite a bit on cash. GPP lineups with the Matt Ryan stack really hit. It was low owned, so did okay there, and kind of made out for kind of an even week for me. So what are we looking at for this week? Well, number one, game stack here. Coming back to Cam Newton. Cam's been playing great lately, and I want to do a Cam to Devin Funchess stack and bringing it back with Ted Ginn Jr. on the New Orleans side. So we got a 48-point Vegas total with a 4-point spread, and actually Carolina is favored to win this game. So good point total and on a road favorite, so I think New Orleans can kind of play that closer. But New Orleans is maybe without their two best corners like they were last week, as well as defensive end, pass rush. So this New Orleans defense has been really stingy this year, something we normally want to attack, but haven't wanted to for the last 6-8 weeks. All of a sudden, in the last 2 weeks, they've given up 31 and 26 points with these injuries that have kind of hit them. And not sure who's going to be in or out yet, obviously, this week yet, but it's looking like they may be missing some pieces again. And if that's the case, here comes Carolina, who's playing some of their best offensive football of the year, going against a defense that is starting to have some struggles. So Cam is running again. He's been running a little bit more as the years progress, and it's creating a high floor for him. So look at these rushing attempts, 9, 5, 5. Actually, that's one game. So 9, 5, 9, 11, 9. Pretty consistent, getting some good yardage. It's at 95 and 86 yards. It's had a couple touchdowns in there. It just really helps this offense flow and, makes him for a great play. But Funchess has continued to see great volume. I mean, I had to get his whole year here because his targets are so consistent from the beginning. 6, 10, 9, 8, 9, 8, 6, 7, 6, 6, 12. I guess, that game's listed twice, so just 6, 12. He is getting good looks. His price is reasonable. And, Cam seems to be looking his way. Like this last game, he had 7 for 108. Got 2 touchdowns twice this year, so he's showing that 2 touchdown upside, but his yardage and touchdown upside haven't exploded together. Right? He hasn't had like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. This could be that situation. We're on the road in New Orleans, the former Coors Field of fantasy football. A lot of goodness to be had there, and if their defense is down, that could be back. Now, the Ted Ginn side, we got to think about the revenge game narrative, right? Ted Ginn coming over to New Orleans from Carolina, and is having a great year. New Orleans running backs, however, have kind of taken over in terms of their offense, all the conversation. Alvin Kamara, how great is this guy? He's only getting 15 touches a game, maybe. And so in this case, I'd like to kind of pivot in a game that I think could be a shootout, right? See what happens when Brees has to throw. He can still throw it. They've just had a great defense and a great run game, and it's forced Brees to just win that way. They haven't had to throw. Well, his last 2 games he's had to throw. And again, his targets have yo-yoed, right? They've been up and down. But if Brees has to throw here, I like that 6 to 10 targets if he can get that. His price, his skill set down the field. Again, going back and forth with Carolina here. I just feel like this could be an interesting spot for Ted Ginn. Now at home against his former team, against a strong offense who's going to put up some points, could really make this an interesting game. Back on tight ends. Here we go, right back to Jared Cook. We got a 42-point Vegas total with a 9.5-point spread. Amari and Crabtree now on top of this, flow chart that we had last week. Now these 2 guys are both out. They're going to have to throw somewhere. And like I said, Jared Cook had a touchdown overturn, so he's still getting targeted in the red zone. I like that for a tight end, and just feel like it's a good bounce back spots. He's playing against the Giants, so still a flow chart team, right? 1 of 2. Got Cleveland, got the Giants. Denver's kind of right in there, who we played last week. And the Giants are imploding. We're benching Eli Manning. Defense has been accused of quitting. I think Janoris Jenkins is out indefinitely now. So it just kind of all lines up that Jared Cook has all these targets that Amari and Crabtree soak up, have to go somewhere. He's the guy they're already targeting in the red zone when those 2 guys are on the field. So I think it's another good spot to target against this Giants team. On the other side, we've got Hunter Henry. Finally, we've got a really good, solid tight end. He's priced up. He's a little expensive. But here we go. 42.5-point Vegas total with a 14.5-point spread. They're set to just dominate the Browns. I mean, Chargers are playing great. The Browns, again, last week gave up another TD to Croft. They continue to do that. Continue to be a team we want to attack. And here comes Hunter Henry. Henry and the Chargers offense are looking really good. They put up 28 and 54 points in the last 2 weeks. Now, the targets have been up and down for Hunter Henry, but he's got a huge upside, right? He can have a 90-yard game. Caught, last week, 5 for 76 and a touchdown. I think something in that vein is possible again. I think he can reach or exceed value in this matchup. I think the Chargers are going to put up a lot of points. They started out the season so rough. I think they have to prove that they're better. They're improving every week. And honestly, the way this defense is playing, against the Browns team that just is inept. You can see a lot of turnovers, a lot of short fields, red zone, starting in the red zone, and that's where you want to target Hunter Henry, and he may have opportunities to get some 2-score upside here in a great matchup. So looking at some value wide receivers. Going right back to Oakland. Oakland's where our value's at this week. Cordero Patterson, 42-point Vegas total with a 9.5-point spread. Again, another opportunity to capitalize on with Amari and Crabtree out. We got to decide between him and Seth Robertson. It's kind of close. Their prices are similar, but I believe Cordero is a little bit cheaper. And their target shares are both interesting, but Patterson does have 4 targets in 3 of the last 4 games. So it's somewhat consistent. Seth's kind of up and down. He saw like a 9-target game the game before last. So he's got maybe a little more of that floor. The higher floor. But I think the higher ceiling, big play upside guy for a GPP here is going to be Cordero Patterson. Again, we've talked about being in a good matchup, and those targets have to go somewhere. He was already getting some of that target share, before. Now I think it could be more. I even think he does return, punts or kickoffs too. So again, Giants giving up. If we want to see maybe a double dip where he, returns something for a touchdown, he'd get credit for that. Along with the Oakland defense, who got their first interception last week, and maybe he's another good play against the Giants starting Geno Smith. On the other side here, we want to look at Deshaun Jackson. So we got a 44.5-point Vegas total with a 1.5-point spread. Close game here. Green Bay's defense is giving up 39.7 DK points per game to the wide receiver position. It's something they struggle with. Tampa Bay is not much better. Although, you've got Hundley on the other side throwing, but he looked decent. So could this game get up in points a little bit, back and forth? I think there's a chance of that. But Deshaun Jackson, I feel, could be a big part of that. He continues to get good target share regardless of the quarterback. Look, these last 3 weeks, he's had 2 different games over 10 targets. He may be a little more consistent with Jameis in there. 9, 6, 8, 8 targets, pretty solid. We like that. In his career, he's normally been a little more of a yo-yo, which we've seen the last 4 weeks. But he has the big play upside in a GPP. But his price has dropped. Is the thing. His price has dropped. Even with 10 targets in 2 of the last 3 games, they've dropped his price down. Now he gets to play against a defense who is struggling against the position. Might get Jameis back. Even if he doesn't, Fitzpatrick is looking his way. Just think it's a good spot to try to target Deshaun Jackson with the price reduction. His ownership doesn't seem like it's going to be too super high. So it's an area I want to target. So that's it, guys. Hopefully everyone did well in Week 12. We're looking forward to Week 13, back on a normal schedule off the holiday. Hope you all enjoyed your time with your family over Thanksgiving. I know I did. We're going to be back to football here on Sunday. So, if you're watching here on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, comment anytime. You can follow me on Twitter at @MPlaneup. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back here next week, talking Week 14. See you guys.